looked at as a godly nation. It's the land of the free, the land of what Martin Luther King had a dream. But what's going on? Mothers depending on parents, families depending on parents.
Yes, indeed.
System that is so failing.
My good people. My good people. Let me see. I'm gonna turn my mic up a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah. Hey. And I look like yeah, man, God is good. This Crown Dion. Just speaking to you about some things, man, you know. Things on the mind, things on the brain. That's how we do. Let's talk about it. And as always, you can definitely join because 2 minds or 3 minds is better than 1. Definitely. Right? That's what I think. Oh. It's crazy, right? So yeah, I'm not coming to okay. I stay suspended on platforms. I don't know why. You know, I don't know why. I don't really mind. It's okay. But so what's next for our community? What's the next thing they're gonna roll out to, you know, come in our community? As they say, pander to our community. You know, I actually don't think it's a coincidence. And I know a lot of you don't think that either. Yeah, God is good. It's Crown Dion here speaking to you again. I'm gonna turn my mic down just a little bit. Speaking to you, but just about life. How y'all doing? Jay. Oh, what's up, my brother? Yeah, and so I seen Kamala Harris on Jimmy Kimmel. And you know, it's just another. It's kind of sad because it's another record. Same old record, same old song, same old time of the year. Really not the same time of the year, but the same time being voting time. And so it's voting time. We start to see politicians act like it's voting time. The ironic thing is, as soon as if you tell the truth just a little bit, if you talk about what's going on, somebody automatically assumes, nephew, what's up, man? I'm hearing the music. I'm hearing you, bro. I'm hearing you. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing you do your thing. But yeah, if you talk about just a little bit of truth, you don't even have to mention no names. Love your nephew. That's right. Thank you. You don't have to mention a name. All you have to do is just say what's going on in America right now. Just mention anything about hard times. Just mention anything about my nephew's daughter not getting a fair chance to school. Just mention any bit of truth. I see Ariel watching. Just mention the fact that Ariel can raise her daughter and she may not get a fair chance in sports. If you just mention it, you don't even have to say a name. Don't even say a name. If you're talking to somebody, they automatically say something about Trump. It's like, I mean, is Trump the truth? Is that, I mean, in a reverse effect, if you talk about how bad things are, somebody automatically mentions Trump. So you can't even speak about what's going on. I seen Kamala Harris come out on Jimmy Kimmel, and man, you know, we see them bring the same things out, and man, I'm telling you, to me, in my opinion, when they do that, when they do this is another slap in our faces, right? This is another attempt to tell the black community, you're silly, And if we bring the right color in front of your face, if we bring the right music in front of your face, if we bring the right food in front of your face, if we bring food stamps in front of your face, housing, if we get somebody to speak to what you like, not need, like, they'll give us their vote. That is the playbook. That's the playbook for I'm gonna attempt this. Let's see. That is the playbook for the Democrats. And it's a successful playbook. You can't even get mad about it. You can't even get mad at it. So it's a successful playbook. They're bringing it out again. And we should actually be offended. We should actually be ready for it this time. I love my brother, Van. You know, he's a brother that actually talks about, he lets people know that, yeah, check this out. I actually fell for the smoke the first time. I actually paid attention and still missed some things and happened to vote for Joe Biden. All right. Now this brother's speaking a whole different tune. And that's what it is. It's like, if we're listening, you don't even have to like Donald Trump. You can actually not like Donald Trump. But if you're listening and watching, you cannot support the guy that first voted against your grandparents. I said this the other night. It's like, you know, and I'm going to keep it soft and, you know, watered down a bit because I got my YouTube base building and I don't want to offend anybody. I want to get my coins in. But the reality of it is, Joe Biden, I'm saying her name now. Joe Biden is the same guy. OMG, Kamala Harris. Yes, yeah. Ooh, pretty embarrassing. I'm going to say this real quick. Kamala Harris is actually the first person, not the first person, but modern day times for young people who didn't know, somebody like Ariel, somebody like my nephew. I don't know how old Jay is, but Jay and a lot of millions of other people, young people that didn't know about Joe Biden's history, Kamala Harris brought them to a modern day reading. She read and read on TV. Modern day 2016 for everybody to see. I mean, yeah, was it 2020 for everybody to see? And so a lot of people forgot what she told Joe Biden in front of millions of people. Joe Biden didn't do nothing but hold his head down. And so we have a different Kamala Harris today, but that's okay. When it comes to Joe Biden, not only did Kamala Harris tell the truth on him about him that night, not only did Kamala Harris put on blast for the young people who didn't know about Joe Biden and his crime bill, Kamala Harris put him on blast that night, and too many people forgot about it. I shouldn't even say too many people. You know what I will say? I'll change that to too many black people forgot about it. Too many black people. She told the world in 2020, and I say that because a lot of young people didn't know. It's not like they're my age and they was a victim of the crime bill. I am a victim of the crime bill. So I know my birthday's coming up. My mom's texting me. And so I know exactly what the crime bill was for. And if you read about it and just hear them talk about it, it was directly for black people or against black people. However, whatever makes you feel better hearing it. And so she put him on blast. Now, this same guy had a much bigger history than that. For anybody walking now, if you have a living grandmother, a living grandfather, God bless you. If you have living parents, God bless you. But this same guy, Joe Biden, he also voted against your grandparents. He also, when I say voted, I mean voted against the Civil Rights Act, voted against every bit of progression for black people, including riding buses, including being on record saying a statement somewhat to the effect of he didn't want his kids going to a racial jungle. In other words, he didn't want his kids going to a school with black kids. This same guy. And so I say this to a lot of different effects. I see so many different, my cousin Gary, If you want a good, great tree job done, that's the man you call. He do a lot more than trees, so I'm gonna just say it like that. You want to call Gary Trees, and I say that for anybody on YouTube watching. You're gonna get a great quote as well. And so this same guy, he voted against your grandmother. Me and Gary share a grandmother. Voted against her. He voted against your grandfathers. He voted against your grandmother's grandmother. If it depends on how old you are. But this man voted against every bit of black progression before some of us were even born. That's how long he's been in power. I say this for some of my black people that are walking around. I want you to know that we don't look smart and we don't look like we know our history when we are applauding, supporting, and feeling sorry for Joe Biden. All right, cousin, that's real. We can't support that guy. Like I said, that don't mean like Trump if you don't like him for whatever reason. But you don't have to like Trump to realize that you're actually supporting the same guy that voted against your grandmother and grandfather, your mother and father, your uncles, if you're black. And not only did he do that by voting with Robert Byrd, who is a documented Klansman and the longest serving senator on record. And we all know, most people know that the Ku Klux Klan didn't just go from the Ku Klux Klan. No, they took off the sheets and took powerful offices in the United States government. And so, right, he did. So if this is that, and that's how that's going, then obviously, when this guy says Robert Byrd was his mentor, Senator Robert Byrd, who was also a documented Klansman, there was a lot of that going on. And so he voted with Robert Byrd 90% of the time, who was a Klansman. So he voted against our grandparents. He voted against our mothers and fathers. And he didn't stop there. He also then made the crime bill for black people who I am a victim of. So wait a minute, let's get this right. Thank you for the 99. Let's get this right. This guy voted against your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother and father, against every black progression for us to be able to have progress, against education for black people, coming out boldly saying he didn't want blacks going to school with his family members, his children. And then he turned around and doubled down in the 80s and said, I will make a crime bill, along with some help with Bernie Sanders and others. I will make a crime bill to go against the current black generation. And I will call them predators and super predators. That crime bill stood in effect for 25 to 20 something odd years. All right. Same guy that voted against your black progression with your grandparents, all of your what you know as forefathers. And then he made a personal bill against you, depending on what age you are. A bill and a law that stood for about 20 something, almost 25 years. And then when you think about that, this man is responsible for the incarceration for over 1 million black lives. You talking about a 1 million man march? No, this man is incarcerated. This man is responsible for 1 million people that could not march because they was incarcerated. Possibly. When I say that, that means I'm just saying that to say that don't mean they definitely would have marched. But he is responsible for over 1 million to 2 million black lives incarcerated in a period of 20 something odd years. And he is the same one that voted against your black parents, your black grandparents, your black mothers and fathers to have education, busing, civil rights, all kind of things. All right. Same guy that voted against your grandparents and you know, I keep having to nail that because I see too many black people applauding that. So I'm just saying, this is the same guy that voted against your grandparents and your parents. And then he turned around and made a bill for somebody in my generation. But do you think Donald Trump will be incarcerated? My brother Jonathan, what's up, man? Loving the towel. Where your towel at, man? Come on the screen and talk about it. I don't think he will be incarcerated. But I say that not knowing, not sure, because the Democrats have proved They will stop at nothing. They have no problem, or they have no problem embarrassing the government of America no more than they've already. I mean, further than they don't have a problem doing it more than they already embarrassed it. They'll keep going. And when you think about their bill, some of them are millionaires. They don't have to depend on the same things that you do, Jonathan. They don't have to depend on what Ariel has to depend on. My nephew Cleo, what's going down with you? They don't have to depend on the things that we have to depend on. So I would say, especially when you consider they're trying to take your gun rights. They're trying to take your gun rights because they have hired gunmen. So when people have everything that they can take from you, they want to make the Green New Deal because you can't fly, but they can. Matter of fact, the politicians are putting more of the stuff in the air. They are doubling down. You know what I mean? You got some politicians are putting on as they say, some type of imprint in the air, much more than, thousands of civilians at a time. Arabella. And so that's what's crazy. And we keep supporting it. We keep supporting it. And so let's flip side. Now we're looking at the guy. All right, we go through things against grandparents of our black people right now. If you're living and you're black, understand this guy voted against your grandparents' right to have equality. Understand if you're black right now and you are caught actually celebrating this guy, right? That's right. George Soros. How do we get on the same side as George Soros? That is because we have a lack of information. But all of my revolutionary brothers and everybody who's ever done any type of community work, they understand that he is not our friend. He has never been a friend if you're in a revolutionary party. He is one of the main names that you understand that is against, first of all, the black community, second of all, America. All of those people. My brother Jonathan is on the ball. Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. They come out and say it. They're not even hiding it anymore. By the way, we have another Bill Gates warned, what they call it, virus going on, killing thousands. We're not hearing about it. But you can find out. It is public information. It goes from beef to, it goes from cow to man. Beef to man, to man. That's what is going on. We got a lot of beef eaters. By the way, this ain't just to take out some people. This is also to get us to stop eating meat. This is also to kill the meat industry. Oh, yes, behind the scenes. Do you agree with that, Jonathan? They're not only coming with another virus, by the way, that has killed 700 out of the country, but it has killed a little bit less than 100 in some of our states where we have a lot of farmland. I want to say it was Idaho, but I could be wrong about that. The new virus. But I'm thinking that this is not just something that's going to kill people, but it is going to be something that they're going to help push. They're going to help push that narrative to getting rid of meat. They're going to help push that narrative to start being the new plant-based narrative. And when I say plant, I don't mean the God-given plants that my brother said he grew up in Idaho. That's right. I don't mean the God-given plants that God placed here on earth. I mean plant like plant as in facility, plant as in plant, a plant, facility plant, electrical plants, that type of thing. That's where this new food is going to be growing. And when we talk about beef being the next virus, that's going to be a big push. And so we should watch out for that. For me, myself, that's not a bother because I don't eat beef. I don't eat chicken. I do eat fish. I might start actually thinking about that because obviously these people are in control of everything and they're getting more control. Shelly and Idaho Falls area, 3D technology. Yeah, man, the great potatoes. I wonder how could they actually hurt us with a potato? I mean, could they do this? Could they do we have any fake potatoes in your opinion? Do we have any genetically modified potatoes right now growing by the millions? I wonder. I like potatoes. We got to be careful, man. You know, America has actually conceded a lot of land to Asia as well. You know, a lot of agricultural land. Why would they do that? Well, Joe Biden. Let's go back to who we were talking about. Joe Biden, the same guy. Now, see, this affects America. This affects white America as well. And that's no offense. That's just being honest. So the thing that I spoke of, not that I know of, my brother said, that's good. I love potatoes. So I spoke earlier of how Joe Biden directly offended, attacked, abused, held back the black community. And then speaking of the black community, I directly spoke of how he did it against our grandparents, against my grandmother, against your grandmother, if you're black. Now, he made a crime bill for somebody in my generation, a modern day law to say, hey, if you're black and you sell a drug, you're going to get more time than your counterparts. More time because it's directly for you if you're black. They directly called us super predators. Now this same guy is making it where farmland, agricultural land, so it goes past the black attack. Now it goes out to America. Agricultural land given up by thousands and hundreds of thousands of acres. And at the same time, they're talking about killing off the population because there's too many people. How would they do that? Farms, maybe? Agricultural land, maybe? I don't know. Just a thought. Could be. And so, yeah, man. This same Joe Biden just took the laws that had never been broken, laws that had never been thought of, twisted, and even after Obama, I won't say nothing directly about that. That could be problems. And so I want to keep the YouTube channel going. Let me leave it at that. But this guy just took the American arm of justice and he turned it on a former president. You know, speaking of crackhead, I'm glad you brought that up, Jonathan. I want my people to actually be offended, to kill. I'm going to just assume. I want my people to actually be offended. If we have I don't know what that means. Oba Okam. Yeah, if we have a guy in power that voted against blacks to have civil rights, to have equality, to have education, to have busing for education, and then called us black men super predators. Eddie saying, what man, what's up, Eddie? And then made sure that black men, that includes Eddie, and black boys who were caught doing some of the same things that white young men could have done, got harsher sentences. That was a law. So not only did he vote against us to have equal rights, then he turned around and made a law that black young men were called super predators and locked up to a much higher rate and sentencing term as their counterparts. Now this guy has actually turned over farmland and agricultural land all over America to foreign adversaries. And they're talking about killing off too many people because there's too many people in America. It's too many people on earth, actually. Now this same guy has showed the power of the pen by saying, not only did I offend black people with the power of my pen, now I'm going to show you what I can do to a white man as well. Is the rest of America listening? And what my brothers and sisters, I don't understand this. This guy who said, I'm going to lock blacks up for selling crack or cocaine. How can we not be offended when we watch the trial that's going on today? This guy has a son who has been on crack for years. This guy has living with crack, loving crack. This guy did everything crack, crack, crack. What kind of contradiction is that? That's a serious contradiction. But you know it's a bigger contradiction? When black people actually support it. That is a bigger contradiction. This guy, all we have to do is look on the news. By the way, they keeping the media out of the news because they don't want us to see. They don't want us to see. The same laptop Donald Trump told people about, and 31 FBI agents, maybe more than that, came on and told us it was fake. CNN told us it was fake. And MSDNC told us it was fake. All of these people, turns out it's real. Now this guy's going to court every day, and people are coming in to testify, and it is tremendous. It's actually funny. Prostitutes coming in to testify. This guy did crack every 20 minutes. But he made a law to lock up black men. His daddy made a law to lock up black men, called the crime bill. Oh, yeah. Newsmax, they popping. It's part of the reason why a lot of people can get away from places like CNN, even Fox now. And so, yeah, man, I think that's a huge contradiction. It's like, I don't know how, I don't even know how no blacks ever voted for this guy. Not one. That's sad to say, but I understand we have a lot of Obama nation people. And so I do understand that, but I don't understand it because he's on record saying, hey, it's not about what I do or will I do something for the black community. It's about doing it for America. Well, I do understand that. But when they asked Trump what he would do specifically for the black community, I appreciated the fact that he was not afraid to say it. I'm going to do this for the black community. This is something that Kamala Harris walked away from. And you can see it all over YouTube. And this is something that Barack Obama walked away from. And you can see it all over the internet. As a matter of fact, when it was Charlemagne the Boy, he's no god of mine. So it was Charlemagne that asked Obama directly. And man, it's actually a funny video because he couldn't do nothing but, you know. And so we understand that this was a question that a lot of people stay away from. What you going to do for the black community? Trump answered it directly. This is what I'm going to do for the black community. Not only did he say it, he did it. Not only did he do it for the black community, by the way, when you strengthen the historically black colleges, when you actually strengthen the black colleges of America, it's only 105. All right? It's about 5,000 colleges in America. 100 and maybe 1 to 5, 101 to 105 of those colleges are HBCUs, historically black college universities. Trump made sure they had funding that Obama did give them. That's a serious irony in itself. Charlemagne, that's right. Yeah, Ariel, you know about it. My brother says The View is a joke. The View is the most insulting show for black women, for any women, but I will be honest, and I don't like to keep it in color, but I doubt I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I doubt there is a very high community of white women supporting or watching The View. I doubt it, because white women, I'm not, that's not saying anything. I know just maybe the white women that like Whoopi Goldberg, probably. But and you're right. And you know what? My brother's on it. You're right. There are a lot of white women that might be pro-Palestine. There are a lot of white women that might be pro LBGT. The rest of you know them. And there might be white women who are pro-Obama and a lot of things. So there are a lot, but there are a lot more that also say, I don't like Trump. They don't even have to like Trump. But I will not be disgusted by watching these four idiots either, just because they're women. And for Whoopi Goldberg, she hasn't, the blackest she's ever been, in my opinion, is The Color Purple. And guess what? She didn't write the script. So I don't know who she is. I don't know what she represents. I don't know what community she represents. I know about her marriage background, all of these different people who can't seem to stand black people, but these are the same people that get on the TV and tell black people how they need to act, how much they love them. But you don't marry black. You don't want to even be near black people, but you get on the TV and you play this role that you love black people. Black Lives Matter. The fact that this lady, soon as she got all of that money that she raised for Black Lives Matter, guess what she did? She got a multi-million-dollar mansion in California with people she says she hates. This is funny. I am saying all of this because I'm saying my black community, we got to wake up and stop loving the things that are against us. Latasha Rivers, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, we got a black and poor communities. We keep loving and supporting these things that are not for us. These things that actually hate us. These things that if we paid attention, the laws and the things that made are actually made against us. Democrats have been ruling major black cities for years. No, did I say years? I meant decades. Look it up. And then we wonder why the condition is like it is, and then we blame it on white people. People don't like me. I'm a little too blunt, a little too straight up. You too black to be this straight up. You a revolutionary. You selling out. No, selling out ain't telling the truth, bro. Selling out is when you actually tell a lie to dumb your people down and continue the same narrative that we've gotten. Broken down, tore up, poor, depleted, underdeveloped communities. Indeed. And so, this same guy has now embarrassed the justice system of America. That trial was a sham, and you don't have to like Trump to recognize that. If you do have to like Trump to recognize that, you have a problem with yourself, and you have a problem with America, probably. Yeah, man. So I'm just, I'm gonna wrap it up soon. I respect the truth. That's right. I appreciate Area. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Now, one thing I do realize is that people that actually support the truth, they either have to be, you don't have to be black, you don't have to be white, it's not even a color thing. You have to be actually truly woke. The woke we used to talk about. You know what I mean? Not sleep, as we used to say. Yeah. You have to be a mother or a father. You have to be somebody making living and not sitting back on inheritance money. Or, I shouldn't just say have to make a living, but you have to be somebody who know what a struggle looks like. And you run into that struggle every now and then. You have to be somebody who have children in the public school system. And you have to be somebody who possibly is not supportive of the direction that the power that the LGBT community has over our government. We're talking about them denying Easter. Joe Biden actually denying Easter, killing Easter to respect Transgender Visibility Day. And so, like I said, if you're listening to anything I say and you're liking it, you're supporting it, you have to be somebody, actually a mother, a real person who's able to remove that enmity, that dislike for somebody and say, I'm going to put my children over my dislike for Donald Trump. I'm going to put my spirituality over my dislike for Donald Trump. By the way, this same current administration is attacking spirituality. Come on. We can't act like we don't know that. If you do, that means you're not that spiritual, or you're not that in tune to what's going on with the church. This guy is also turning down spirituality. As a matter of fact, your new God would be nature if it was up to a lot of people, the powers that be. And I don't mean Joe Biden when I say that. I mean the people that control him. And so yeah, man, we have to be careful. My people cannot support it. My people cannot applaud it. If you do, please do it quietly, because your counterparts, your friends, they know, and they see this lack of education when they see you supporting somebody who has built his life standing against you. Straight up. That's right. What does somebody that built their life standing against you, all of your family, if you're black, all right? So we can't get caught ignorantly speaking, because a lot of our friends who are different colors, a lot of our friends, I've known Jonathan for years, and guess what? Before Trump ever touched the office, this guy supported me on so many different walks that I did for the black community, that I did for the rural, that I did just for progress. This guy supported me. And so I know he supports the right things. That's all we got to do now. It shouldn't be a personal thing where we're saying, I hate Trump so much that I'm going to vote against my own child. I hate Trump so much, I'm going to vote against my own progress, my own wallet, my own household. That is what you're doing. And like I said, this is the same guy that built his career voting against black people, making laws or a law against black men and black boys. That law is responsible for over 1 million black lives incarcerated. So when you talk about something like that, that is just as devastating as any other thing that we could talk about after slavery. I dare anybody to bring it to me. And since my brother, Jonathan, since you are in tune to what I'm talking about, I would like for you to actually put, if you could think of any one thing, Ariel, Satirica, anybody who's still in tune, if you come back and watch it, put it in the comments. If you can tell me one serious thing after slavery, one thing that has stagnated black people, one thing more than the crime bill, I would love to hear it. I would say it's nothing. I would dare to say there is not one thing that has stagnated black people in America more than the crime bill. Not even close. Because if you can lock up a people for 25 years with certain laws, guess what? That effect can last for a century. That's still going on today. That's still going on today. The effect of the crime bill is still going on today. And it's going to continue to go on, because young black men that were missing their fathers, they're now thinking that they could raise, or that their girlfriends or their baby mama can raise their children without them being in the home. And guess what? Those little kids that's being raised like that, they're going to think they can be raised like that. Black people at a higher percentage than any other race in America are being raised without black men in the home. Those are facts. Those are numbers. And guess what? Our counterparts, the Hispanics, are second, but not even close to us. But they're second. And then for white men, they're in the home at a much higher rate. So these are things that are designed and was put in motion by laws like the crime bill. There is no other thing that has stagnated black people more than the crime bill after the institution of slavery. I would dare anybody, if you come back and watch it, I appreciate it. Put it in the comments. Let me know. Give me something to think about it. But as I sit here and think right now, I don't think there is one thing. I don't think there is one single thing that has affected, stagnated, held back, embarrassed, broken down, belittled black men, and affected the black household more than the crime bill. Not even close. Not even close. Yeah. This is the man that we cannot get caught supporting. And if you're that, If something is wrong with you and you got a real serious Trump derangement syndrome, and you just got to go in there and vote for this other guy that has been atrocious. Did I just make that up? I don't know. It sounded pretty good. Uh, that has been a beast, that has been horrible, a demon to us as black people. If you still feel like you got to do it, please do it quietly. Don't let your people know how ignorant you can be. Don't let because if your children ever ask you, it would be quite embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if I actually supported that and my granddaughter came and said, "Granddaddy, why you knew that I would have to play against boys in volleyball or flag football if you voted for this guy? You knew that I would have to share a bathroom with boys if you voted for this guy. Granddaddy, you knew that I would never have privacy in the locker room where I do sports. Granddaddy, you knew if I was just coming from class, I could possibly share my bathroom with a boy if you voted for this guy. Granddaddy, you knew China had bought up, acres and acres by the hundreds and hundreds of thousands in America. And it was going to even be worse if you voted for this guy. Granddaddy, you knew that black people were being replaced and put in further and further and further in the back of the line due to the 1.2, we'll say 1.5 million that Joe Biden just agreed to. We think he signed an executive order. Yes, he finally signed the executive order that he could have signed about 3 years ago. But he signed an executive order finally, as The Rock would say. But let's look at the other things that he also signed. He also signed, as my brother Jonathan thought about, illegals trashing the NYPD. So he also signed, we will continue to let in 1.2 million illegals a year. Do you know how many people that is? That's a lot of people. Well, it is a different subject. Yeah. But this guy is behind it. And this guy is empowering the education, the school board of education, and giving so much power along with the unions that these things are happening at a much higher rate. And we even see it in Florida. Somewhere where we thought we would not see it as much. And it's not cool. It's not cool. Lily deserves a chance. It's not cool, man. So yeah, man, this guy has no stop at power, and I don't know if this guy is compromised. It's obvious to me. It seems compromised, but when a person is compromised, that means they have no point where they will not go to spare that, to save that, to keep that whatever they're compromised about out of the light. And I mean, those are the facts. This guy's how did a balloon get all the way across the man? I tell you one thing. If President Trump would have been the president when a balloon went from over this place and flew all the way, it wouldn't have made it. That seems like an agreement to me. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. The same guy that has disrespected every bit of life, every bit of equality from the beginning of his power trip in the Senate and in politics, standing against black people, making a law against black people only, is now the same guy that has said white people don't get comfortable. And my thing to black people, if a man is bold enough to say white people don't get comfortable, what the hell you think that means for you? What we think that means for us? Here it is, a billionaire just got put on some type of kangaroo court, and where, I mean, who's at the mercy of the court system more than black people in America? I don't think it's white people or Spanish people. I think it's black people. Who's at the mercy of the court systems more than any other culture or color in America? Blacks. We just saw a kangaroo court where a billionaire couldn't get witnesses, couldn't talk, couldn't complain about the judge donating money to the campaign, couldn't talk about the fact that the judge's daughter is making millions of dollars off of the trial, couldn't talk about the fact that the main witness has been prosecuted for lying to Congress, lying to everybody. I'm talking about including God, like we all have, I guess. But this guy is actually a convicted liar. Michael Cohen, top prosecutor's witness. It is so crazy how all of these heroes who break the law, Trump's a villain, but all of anybody that hates Trump, no matter what you do, you could be the worst guy. And you know what I mean when I say no matter what you do. It could be sex crimes, any kind of thing in the world. If you talk about Trump in a bad way, you're a hero, and you can find yourself on CNN, MSNBC. We just saw Trump. We just saw some of these people on MSNBC earlier. It's disgusting. I do have great news. My friend. So, if you're a Trump fan, some people have heard me talk about Fani. This is my moment when I get this feel like I might have some French in me. Could I be a French? Could I possibly have some? Since all of these people get to be what they want, guess what I'm going to be for 5 seconds? I'm going to be French. And I'm going to talk about Fani. Biden needs to claim the fact that he can't keep up. Trump's going to smash him. Coming from Ariel. She said Trump's going to smash him. Biden cannot keep up. I agree with Ariel. That seems like a person that's paying attention. So the great Fani Willis. Fani has broken so many laws in Georgia. And I don't say this because Trump said it. I don't say it because Trump's team says it. I say it because I'm watching the trial, which will resume. Oh, man, dang. It resumed today. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. So that hearing actually resumed today, where you can hear the person that wrote the grant, and you can hear the person bringing the charges, bringing the lawsuit, the whistleblower actually testify against Fani. And you can hear how disgusting this lady is. You can hear how she was taking the black people's and the black taxpayers' money. I say that because Atlanta is mainly black. And so she's taking all of these, it is millions of dollars. And she's just disrespecting the taxpayers. These people who are bringing the charges who are bringing the accusations are black people. So I don't see how black people are being impressed by her going on CNN or MSNBC blaming it on white people. Black people are bringing the charges. So for my black voters that also still voted for this lady after finding out she's ripping you off, you are part of the problem. You are part of the sleep nation. You are actually the new woke nation, but you are truly sleep nation. But anyway, to getting back to my point, the good news about that involving Trump is that case has now been stopped due to her corruption. Not stopped, put on hold until they find out if this lady is going to be charged, actually taken off the case, or whatever the case may be. The case against Trump in Georgia is now on hold until further notice, and that notice won't be in somewhere until around November. October is when they'll go to forward with whether they'll formally charge Fani, the black district first female DA, and she's using that. Ariel might be paying attention. She knows about Fani Willis using all of the taxpayers' money. to go all over to go everywhere she want to go, and taking trips. I'm trying to take a trip right now with my lady. You know, I can't even do that because we got to go through all of these different hoops, different things, different things, different things. But guess what? Not funny, not funny. She just tell the taxpayers, hey, by the way, I want to not make this a joke. People will come to it later. I want to make sure I point this out. For taxpayers in Atlanta, Fulton County, you just voted for Fani Willis to be your Democratic representative. The Democrats are, what's wrong with them? This lady, some of the money that she is stealing is victims' money. They have victims' money to the tune of about $1 million. SA. SA means sexual assault victims. She is taking the kits, KITS, for sexual assault victims. If you know what that means she's making sure you don't get your DNA sample. Victims who are sitting on the sideline waiting for testing and all kind of different things to help catch that pervert. And a lot of them, we understand that they don't. We see what's going on with the Democrats. They don't even want a lot of these people caught unless you're Trump. You can get away with anything in New York today, but look what happened to Trump. I don't understand. You can actually, let's understand this for my New Yorkers also. Yes, kits, the rape kits. I didn't want to say that word because I get banned on everything. You get banned for truth, but I don't mind. This is about truth. The rape kits and stuff like that. That money is going to sexual. The money that goes for sexual assault victims. That is the money that one of the grants. And this lady's still testifying. Like I said, that resumed today. So one of the main grants that she's talking about. This is the grant writer, the young black woman who's testifying. So if you get a chance, look that up. It's actually disgusting, because you understand how this lady is on a power trip. Fani is on a power trip, and so her and Nathan Wade, she bought her some meat, pickle, cucumber, whatever the right word may be. How about the California convicts for sexual crimes? That's another one. I just saw a powerful thing where a lady stepped down from the Democrats saying that very thing. She said, I'm tired of actually making a way where people can buy kids. You can buy children for sexual crimes. Who would have knew? Who knew? Like, they're actually arguing about this thing in California. Wow. This crazy. Now my brother here said apparently they will be castrated, and that actually looks like the way they want us to go. So I don't know if he meant that's actually a conversation or that's seemingly or equivalent. I mean, these people are killing the population, saying that people are having too many babies. That would be what my brother is alluding to in one way. So, and then when you look at the population or the giving birth rate in America, it went down. Oh, damn. He said it's in the news. Wow. And so the birth rate of birth this year has went down. The household of having birth or having kids is going down almost in every country, including America. Man, we got to be careful with that, man. And like I said, so we got to be careful. My people, if you have any bit of melanin in you, you have to be careful who you're speaking in front of. If you think you might sound smart and you find yourself trying to fit into these conversations with people and you find yourself trying to trash Trump or whatever, not about trashing Trump, just applauding the work and the evil, the fox, Joe Biden. I call him a fox because he's sly. If you're applauding that, he has been that same fox against your grandparents, my grandparents, me as a victim of the crime bill. And now you see that same fox has told white people you're put on notice as well. I don't have to stop at black people. I stopped enough of them. I'm responsible for over 1 million or 2 million black lives incarcerated. Now I have to let you know that this goes for you too. You can get the smoke too. That's what he's telling white people as well. So if you're applauding, if you're black and you're applauding that, you don't look good. And a white person might not actually tell you that in your face because they don't want you to be offended. They might even be your friend, you know, that friend at the job. So they don't want to tell you how silly you sound or how bad you sound. They don't want to tell you you sound a little like you might not be on cue with your history. They don't want to tell you you're embarrassing yourself. They don't want to tell you that, so you might not know. I want to tell you. Please understand this. You cannot, you might get away with it in people's face, but when people are turning their back, it sounds really silly to understand. That is why I said this is similar to people with Stockholm syndrome. Do you know how you sound if you're a captive or if you held hostage or you're abused or tortured for a period of time and you come out and say, I feel sorry for my torturer. I feel sorry for that guy that strategically and specifically made a law to torture me and hurt my chances of ever having the same chances as him. Do you know the person who you're telling that to is looking at you saying, is these people crazy? This man out of his mind. How can black people not see the fact that Biden's cool with KKK? Ariel, I don't understand how, especially when he's telling people, right? So if she said that, that means she understands that Biden said not too long ago, about 3 or 4 months ago. It could have been longer. This guy makes so many blunders. It could have been 5 or 6 months. But he alluded to the fact that Robert Byrd was his mentor. Once again, anytime, I mean, if I heard Trump say that, I'm going to be honest, just me being me, if I hear Trump come right out and says, Kelvin White, my great mentor, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look up who Kelvin White is. Because Trump is 78, maybe. I don't know. He's a June. Shout out to her. Happy birthday to President Trump. He's a Gemini. And so I would say this, he's close to 80 as well. And so if this guy who he just mentioned happens to be his mentor, that means this guy has some age on him too. And I want to know who this guy Kelvin is and find out what he gave, what he contributed to America, to the world, to the earth, what he does, what does he do anything for God? What is he about? I want to know who this guy is, who Trump just said was his mentor. That's what anybody should want to do. So this guy is on record coming out talking about Robert Byrd being his mentor. So I would just beg anybody. Teddy, would you have a word, my brother? You got a word? I can bring you on if you do. Yeah, I would love to know. I would love to know why anybody would not want to know who Robert Byrd is if this guy, Joe Biden, is on record saying Robert Byrd is my mentor. I can tell you who he is, but you can also easily find out. He is a Klansman. My brother. He is a Klansman, a former Klansman, rest in peace. And I do understand that a lot of Democrats said Robert Byrd changed. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Joe Biden built his career voting against Teddy's grandmother, Teddy's grandfather. I don't even know how old Teddy is, but I see Teddy has black skin like me. He voted against every bit of progress for us. Kamala Harris said it, and now I'm saying it because it's a fact. He voted against busing. He voted, what's up, Monica, my niece. He voted to make sure Monica didn't get an education. Or I should say Monica's grandfather and grandmother. You know, this guy voted against everybody that we consider our grandmothers and grandfathers because he's that old. And then when he became in the Senate, he made laws to hurt modern day black people like myself, somebody my age, we can't vote for that. We can't support that. And if we do, please do it quietly. It's pretty. It just shows where you are in life. It shows your education and it shows your history. And it is very ironic. What's up, cuz? Yes, it's very ironic that when people dog out Joe Biden, they automatically get called an Uncle Tom or they automatically get accused of being a sellout. How am I a sellout, or how am I not standing up for my community by calling out the man that made sure my grandma couldn't get educated? By calling out the man that made sure he voted against black people going to school with white people, to make sure he voted to make sure blacks couldn't get equal education, to make sure blacks couldn't get buses to school. How am I Uncle Tom for voting against that guy? I would love to know that. Yeah, I would love to understand that. And I voted for the guy that actually said, I'm going to make sure that black colleges historically can continue educating black people. Really? So one guy says, I don't want you to get an education. That's Joe Biden, right? The other guy says, I'm going to make sure you continue to get education for life. That's Donald Trump. One hand says one hand says no education. The other hand says, I want you to get your education permanently, forever. But he's the racist. I don't understand. And so I'm saying that if somebody has a history for holding you back, if somebody has a history of voting against you, of voting against your mother, can make the same claim, and your grandmother can make the same claim, that these senators right here, these two senators, and a group of others, we know they had to have a lot of others to win these votes. But what I'm saying, it don't matter how the vote went. These two senators right here continue to vote against my education. If your grandmothers can say that to you as black people, then the two senators that they are talking about, they don't have your best interests at heart. Especially if one of them to this day, or one of them actually made a crime bill directly against you if you have blackness in your skin. That's all. I'm going to say that and get out of here because we've been going for the hour. I appreciate you, Ariel. I appreciate you, my bro, Jonathan. Gonna get you in that video, man. Teddy, Monica, what's up, cuz? Take care of that family. How y'all doing up there? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Anybody else who came on? Yes, indeed, man. You know, voting counts and votes have consequences. I don't know if anybody is watching. What you should do, I would suggest this. I know Monica is a young mother. I know Ariel is a young mother. Beautiful young mothers. You are the kind of people that will be affected more than any other person. When you get a minute, put this in your browser. I'm going to do it as, put this in your browser. Citizens of Chicago. Maybe let me change that. Citizens dealing with Chicago crisis. And you'll see blacks by the hundreds and thousands going down to City Hall complaining about how they are being displaced for migrants. We don't feel it in Florida yet. That's why we sleep. That's why we keep on taking it for granted. But I keep telling people, Ron DeSantis and some of those laws that he put in place are trying to help, he ain't going to be here forever. As a matter of fact, this could be his last term. And I hate to say it, I hate to say this, Jonathan, but I'm so straight up on things. I fear. All you got to do is look at it. Trump County, Trump Nation is in Florida, but this is also a very, 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 very blue area. We're in a blue area right now. And we remember how close this last race was when it came down to governors. I think Florida will be purple. Political people understand that means it could go either way, and that's scary. Oh man, that's crazy. Whatever. Yeah, that's scary. Florida could go either way, and I hope not, but it could happen. And that's why I brought up what's going on in Chicago, because you're not going to see it on CNN. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know because they don't want you to understand what they're doing. They don't want you to understand that they are putting you at risk by opening the border the way they have. So you're not going to see any of that stuff on MSNBC. You're not going to see it on CNN. You can see a little bit of it on Fox, but not a lot. That border being wide open is hurting you. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And I'm telling you, it's going to hurt our black women a lot. It's going to hurt those women on housing, waiting for housing, any type of, system that you're depending on. It's going to hurt because that system is going to them first. What he has taken on, he is now responsible for, and he is actually acting like it. He is doing it in full mode. Like he is embracing it. He is putting the migrants, I call them migrants, because these are his children now. The migrants are migrants, Bigrants. That is what it is. And they are more important than you, Monica. They are more important than you, Ariel, than Lily, than you, Jonathan, and your family. You, Crown, I'm appointed myself. You on YouTube. They are more important than any one of us. Not to us, but to that administration that is current right now. Yeah. So Florida, I love the red because it has also protected us from a lot of stuff. A lot of the bull crap that they're trying to put into our schools. DeSantis has done a good job, but I have a feeling people been saying oh, you just yapping. Oh, he just fear mongering. We're going to see some of that stuff as soon as DeSantis is removed. You can see it. Look how many people he had to fire. You can see it's coming. So a lot of the blue stuff that we hear about in California, New York, and other blue areas like Atlanta, it's going to be right here in Florida. And that is including the welfare system that so many of our black people depend on. Like I said, look at what's going on in Chicago. Look at how classrooms, black kids are having to stay home because they have to make room and educate the migrants. Understand this, when you take migrants in, you have to educate them or you can face a lawsuit. We learned that from the Chinese people who sued Joe Biden when he first got in the office. So, yeah, this is how it's going. And the poor people are going to pay for it the same way poor people are paid for a lot of the war against Trump, the war in Israel, the war in Palestine, the war in Ukraine, the war in Russia. It's all around. And I think we are paying a much higher expense than we should be paying. None of it had to happen, but they campaigned on it happening. They campaigned on it happening. So the Democrats kept their promises. A lot of people crying, but you get what you ask for. You get what you vote for. Me, on the other hand, I didn't vote for it. So I have a right to sit here and cry. I have a right to cry for my grandchildren. I have a right to cry for my nieces. I have a right to cry for my daughters. I don't have no real daughters, but I look at my granddaughters like daughters. So I have a right, especially when I know that my granddaughters are in sports. Yeah. So I have a right to have that fear. I have a right to fear my granddaughters at any time could walk into a bathroom and some man could be standing in there with a hard one, with a stiff woody. Because understand this, every man that goes into the bathroom now that Joe Biden has made it legal, he's not gay. He just taking advantage of the laws that was made. There are some men, i.e., reference Virginia, there are some men that are going to take advantage of this law, and they're going to put on a skirt, and they won't have the gayest thought in their mind. They are putting on that skirt to follow a certain person in the bathroom. And we've seen it happen. It not just happened, but that is where we saw the violation in Virginia, and it happened in other places. But Virginia was the biggest one, and that's how Governor Glenn Youngkin became so popular. Oh man, yeah, that'll make you angry. Yeah. As a matter of fact, this school was right across the street from a Walmart. I see it made somebody angry. I'll go ahead and give you a quick detail. This school was right across the street from either a Walmart or a Kmart, and she was a freshman. The guy went, bought him a little skirt, whatever, went in the bathroom out there, a ninth grader, and he sodomized her, raped her, did all whatever those things. I hope that don't get me off, and so get me knocked off. So he gave her, sexually abused her, sodomized her, and all kind of stuff. And when the father went to make a big noise about it, he got arrested. He didn't even go to the cops because he allowed the school system, the school board system, who's gotten so much power as of lately, to tell him they will handle it. And him being a father that was, if you see it, you'll form your own opinion. In my opinion, he looked like, he didn't look to seem to have them all, and he looked like somebody when you say handle it, he's okay. I trust you. With that kind of case, he should not have trusted them. And so he saw nothing was done about it. He went to the school board meeting, brought it up what happened, and got arrested. Are you kidding me? And so these are the things that's happening. This guy wasn't gay. He was never wanting to be a woman. He wanted to follow that girl. Now let's talk about who this girl could have been. She could have been somebody that he had tried to talk to before. She could have been somebody that never wanted to speak to him, that shunned him, whatever. Not saying it's her fault, but saying that his motive could have been so many different things other than the fact that he woke up feeling like a girl. And so, but these are the laws that the government, that Joe Biden is pushing forward. Remember, he canceled Easter for Transgender Visibility Day. We can't support that. I'm out of here. God is good. I love the people. People love me back sometimes. Yeah, man, let me see something. Let me catch up. Let me make sure. Let me look at something. No men and women. Oh, okay. I gotta catch up on this. Hold up. Oh, Kiana. Let me acknowledge Kiana. Always support him. Another strong black mother. Monica gave some hand claps. Let me see. I'll try to bring a few on. I don't know. I sent the invite. Yeah. So let me my brother said heads blah. Let me see. However it's spelled. Oh, Hezbollah. Oh, you mean Hezbollah? Yeah, beast. Once Trump gets back in office, there will be no men in women's sports. Period. Yes, indeed. You're right. I mean, I know Kiana's another. She's with me. She with me. The mothers and fathers of the world, we can't support it, man. You can't. You just can't. I love to look my granddaughter in the face and say, I gave you the best chance I knew how. I voted against those things that were against you. Even if it hurt me. I don't even go to the booth thinking about myself and my feelings and about some man, orange guy, orange guy mean tweets. No, I'm thinking about the guy that is writing in the most crap to hurt me. And if the guy that, it's just common sense to me. And I'm going to go back to it, then I'm out of here. if he voted against your grandmother or your grandfather or your mother and father before some of us were even thought about, if he voted against them to go to school, if he voted against them to have equality, if he voted against most progress for black people in the 60s and 70s or in the 70s and 80s, if he voted against us then turned around, doubled down, and made a crime bill against strictly black people, then he cancels Easter for Transgender Visibility Day. Then he arms the government against a former president, something that has never ever been done. When he takes the gloves off on billionaires, black people don't clap because that lets you know, like I said earlier, if he letting white people know that the same way I did blacks, I can do you with the power of my pen. If he telling that to white people boldly in 2024, that means him, not as a he individual, but as a party. That means they are putting the world on notice that ain't nobody safe. Ain't no safe spaces. And if it ain't no safe spaces, guess who at the bottom, the very, very bottom of the little tiny bitty space? Guess who everybody foot on? Keep it real. Keep it real, somebody. Y'all know who everybody foot on? The black. Who at the bottom? Black people. And we the ones laughing. Oh, you saw what happened when Joe Biden got him. Oh, we can't be clapping. We can't. It ain't funny. It ain't funny. I know for a fact we try to say stuff without because we don't know if people could talk. I know some mothers are single. I know mothers that raise their children like a real mother bear. I've heard my sister Ariel talk about doing a hard job as a single mother. Or when we have our sisters out here, it is by design that the black man, I hate to say it, it's not me, it's stacks. Under it goes white, Spanish population, and then the black household. We are the highest percentage with no fathers in the home, no black man in the home. That is something they strategically did. Those are the things that Joe Biden supported way back before Trump was ever even thought about to be a politician. This man was writing laws against black people before Trump ever even probably got his first $1 million. You understand that? Before Trump was a millionaire, Joe Biden was writing laws and voting against the progress of black people. I don't know how nobody can keep confusing that. And so for the single mothers or the mothers of the world that has had to fight to raise their children by themselves over the course of years that I've known them, that I've had to see baby daddies that they actually, some of them, you know, there's some baby fathers that get bad raps that don't deserve it. You know why? Because the plan put in motion years ago, and I ain't making no excuse for no real true sorry fathers. I'm just saying it was plans put in motion years ago that made sure them baby daddies was sorry or was lacking or could not do the things that you needed him to do. And now it's so hard to where black man, it's almost like we don't stand a chance. But that we're going to too many, I'm going too personal. I don't want to do that. I just want to say we got to pay attention to what we're doing. Get away from trying to be selfish and doing it for ourselves, especially if you're looking at less life than more life. I would like to think that I'm healthy enough and God is good enough. I've been so healthy for so long that I could be 100. But there's also a reality in me that tells me it's possible, just quite possible, maybe a little bit, so it might be possible, that I have less life left than I have lived life. So why would I keep making votes or decisions for me when I have grandchildren, when I have children. What? So let's get this straight. You're going to vote on something that's going to affect you and only be good for you if it's bad for the little babies that still got to come up and deal with stuff that your mama didn't wouldn't have had you dealing with. Your mama and daddy wouldn't have voted for the guy that told them you can be a girl when you want to, or you can be a boy when you want to. You remember our mamas was just dishing out butt whippings and grandmamas. Remember the Democrats came along and took that from you. So they've been working on this for a long time. This ain't some stuff that just popped up overnight. It just crept up on us because we don't pay attention and we allow them to give us the news that we need. That's what we allow them to do. Thank you, keep teachers. Some are listening. Yes, indeed. Knowledge is powerful. That would be a disaster indeed. Oh, man. Oh, you've been paying attention to that. Yeah, the Olympics are out of control. The Olympics are actually considering letting the men box. That's crazy. Olympic boxing has been one of the great things of the Olympics. Olympic boxing has been great. And that's what I mean. It's going too far. They're actually talking about letting transgenders compete. They are letting men. I'm glad my granddaughter don't want to box. I'm glad my granddaughter isn't talking about boxing like she is with volleyball. That's so unfair. That's so unfair. And so, yeah, it's possible that they will have them. They have like you said. They actually, I think it's gonna happen. My brother, I think it's gonna happen, and they're pretty serious about it. And that makes you actually wonder how powerful is that community? Like how powerful? Like how much money is there? I mean, who would have thought? First, they take out the Pledge of Allegiance, take out any prayer. They take out prayers about God. They take away Easter and say Transgender Visibility Day. Man, hey, listen. You do what you want to do in your bedroom. That's you. It's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I'm saying, to each their own, as we say. But why the kids got to be involved? How can you take a kid that can't even go and get a hotel room to have sex with a girlfriend he been going with for 5 or 6 years, but he can't get a room to legally do something with her? He can't go to the movies if it's a rated R movie. He can't go buy cigarettes. He could smoke. He been smoking since he was 12. He can't go buy them. Can't go buy a beer. Can't do none of that. But you can chop his penis off. We got to stop the madness, man. Stop the madness. Those are irreversible decisions. Everything else is actually you can have a conversation about. But chopping off their penis or giving them hormone blockers that will change that woman to the point where she never have a child. This is what they're talking about. And this is what the power that the schools have. And we give it up when we sign over our kids to the medication process. Yeah, we need unity. We need charter schools. By the way, I'm going to say that and get out of here. We need charter schools. For any parent, understand this. Democrats have put a hold on charter schools. That is for a reason. That's why I always try to tell my black people, my black community, understand these are direct attacks against you. Direct. They are doing it for a reason because they know we need school education. But more than anything, we need private school education because as long as it's public, that is why they're stopping charter schools. Trump ran on charter schools. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. He ran on it. He wanted to give black communities charter schools because he understood, but not, hey, you know what? Woo, they were bad when we was in school. Jonathan, Man, those lunches are great now. The one thing kids can't complain about when they come home, you know how I know? That's what I deliver. Unfortunately, I'm in schools every day, and uh, I'm one of those guys that all the people love so much. I'm always happy. I'm always helping out these elderly ladies, whether they are white or black, and most of them are of a different color. But I don't care. When I see these elderly ladies, they like my grandmother, and so I don't want to see that woman picking up apples or oranges. So I'm helping. Boom, pick them up, and so I always get fed school lunches. It is not the same stuff that we had. It is uh, they actually are catering businesses now. That's something else the public don't know. But if you call your school cafeteria, call your local school cafeteria, and I don't know about Pinellas County because I don't deliver to any schools in Pinellas County, but every school I go to in other counties to deliver, whatever they need, these are catering businesses now. Another way, and that's what I mean. The school board is much, much bigger than we know. And that is why they have so much outside influence. And what is that outside influence doing? It is messing with our children. It is allowing big money people to control schools. And that is how they have the power to now start giving your children hormone blockers. That's a fact. And remember, I mentioned blue states earlier. Remember, I mentioned the possibility of Florida going blue. In blue states, a teacher can talk to your child about their gender and hold that secret from you. A teacher can know your child. They can actually open up the transgenderism to them as if that is a problem for them. They can open up these ideas to them. And if your child starts sharing secrets, I want to be this or that, they don't even have to discuss it with you. Look it up. Look at how it happens in blue states. No, it's not right. It's not right that your child can leave the house as Peter and go to school and be recognized as Patricia. And the school will never call you and tell you about Patricia. That is not right. That is what's going on. It's not right that Lily can leave the house as Lily and the school don't tell her mother that at school Lily is called Luke. No? Yeah. Wow. Big brother, big sister programs. You're right. We need more of that. The sad thing is we need more of it, Kiana, but we see less of it. We see less of it, and that is sad. With all of the, when we look on Facebook, we see so many different nonprofit organizations for Black people. I always try to let people know who have a passion for giving. Ariel, children shouldn't even be exposed. That's right. Foolishness. They shouldn't. They should. That's what I mean. It's like our parents, it's like old people right now are laying down on the kids. I know not everybody. I know a lot of people ain't play that. But it's some of my peers who are laying down. Because my mama wouldn't have went for that. Nah. No, sirree, buddy. We'd have been getting educated at home. My granddad probably went down there and whooped the people. When he used to whoop us, we knew it was a problem when he couldn't talk. Oh boy, you in trouble. You in trouble then when the words ain't coming in. You in trouble. Woo, boy, as they say, get the butter from the duck. But they took all of that. They don't want us to have those big brother and big sister programs. Now, a lot of different little people understanding that this is a money scheme. Or you mean to tell me I can get $100,000 for a nonprofit donations, and all I gotta do is give 10,000 up? That means 90,000 go in my pocket. People don't understand why Black Lives Matter was able to do what they did and not get in trouble. They didn't break the law. They did not break the law. What they did is they ripped off the black community with hope. But they did it legally because as a nonprofit, they're able to collect money. What they did is they took the playbook from the some of the people like American Cross, people who've had these foundations forever, Democrat foundations, American Cross, white people foundations, even what this other place is that Joe Biden just went. Where did Joe Biden just go? That's what I was gonna say. Jonathan. So they got the mansion. The sister got a mansion, but the reason why I brought that point up is because she got off with a lot of money. But as a nonprofit, when you collect money, you only have to give 10% to the purpose of where you take it for. So if you get something, if you get a million, or if you get 100,000 for blind kids, then all you have to do is take 10,000 to those blind kids and say, this is what I collected. The 90,000 went in your pocket. And that's the unfortunate thing. So, like you said, the leader was able to get away, go and show who she really, what she really believed in, and what she really stood for. And she bought a multi-million-dollar mansion with collected money with people who thought they was giving it to an organization and to a cause, to black communities. Yeah, we gotta get it started. Because the thing about it is they're willing to give it to almost anybody who's willing to get it started. Unfortunately, a lot of the people who are getting it are not doing anything with it because they found out this is a money scheme. In fact, it's one of the biggest money schemes in the world, similar to the church. And so we have to be aware that when you're giving, try to check out who you're giving to. Make sure they're giving that money where it's supposed to go. Make sure your money's not going into the pockets of the people collecting it more than it is to the use that you're actually giving it for. Because 90% of the time it goes into the pockets. And by law, they only have to give up 10%. And so when you think of that, you think of who made these organizations. It's a scam. Indeed, all in. Yes, you gotta form it. Yeah, we gotta sit down and form all of us. Let me see. That's what we need, man. It's a people thing. That's it. I'm Crown Dion, man, and I'm out. I appreciate YouTubers. I appreciate Facebook. The interaction definitely, because it's always more than anything. It's not just a me conversation, but we are better as a whole than we are as one. And so my ideas are good, but I like to hear other people ideas as well. So I love it when people feed the comments, and I love it when people join on. God is good. If you can help somebody, it's late, so people might not be getting out tonight. If you can touch somebody, help somebody tomorrow with a word of advice, a morsel to eat, a word of inspiration, that'll be a blessing to that person. Let it be so that person looks up and say, thank God for that blessing. Lord knows I needed that. You will be that person's angel. Yep, that's it. I'm out of here, man. I got to get some grub on the tummy. My good people, with anything that you may have learned or heard, make sure you share it with somebody. Joe Biden has a history. I promise I don't understand how that guy ever got one black vote. It would be similar to me. I think it would be similar to me going to vote for David Duke. It would be similar to me going to vote for David Duke. Or it would be similar to, I don't know, no, not one white guy walking. This would have been a better example. It would be similar to a white guy saying that I would have voted for Malcolm X at his height. And Malcolm X did nothing bad to white people. But I'm just saying, voted for somebody that actually put a little, I wanted to say somebody that actually put a little fear in their heart. They wouldn't, because at that time, America painted him as somebody they had to fear. So most of white America saw him as somebody they feared. And at that time, before he was, that's what part of the reason he was assassinated, or it was approved assassination. And so at that time, the blacks voting for Biden today would be similar to any white people talking about going to vote for that at that period of time in life. It just wouldn't happen. And I don't know how any black, knowing Joe Biden's history, seeing it all over the TV, documented as much as it is, history against hurting black people, holding blacks back, voting against blacks in progression, voting against blacks in education. How could they ever vote for it? And more than anything, how could they get caught bragging about voting for it? That's it. That's a fact. You can't do it. If you hate Trump so much that you got to vote for Joe, try to keep it quiet, man. Try to keep it quiet. Don't let everybody know that you're voting against your own self and you're voting against your children and grandchildren just because you hate somebody. It's quite ignorant. All right. I'm out of here. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. God is good. I agree with that, my brother. Wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Oh, snap. Man, I wish my brother would have been on here. Because, see, this is a man that actually, he can't add. What's up, my brother? I appreciate you for listening, even if you're gone. But that's another brother who actually fight for a very, fight with a hard stance. And he know the history of America, and he know the history of those that have done their best to hold us back. And my brother is one of the people that actually asked a different question, and on the feed the other day when talking about people who saw this, had a comment or an opinion on the vote. I mean the verdict, and it seems like for the people who's always at the mercy of the court, we don't believe in second chances. Shout out to my brother Jabbar. Great question. And that is something that we truly have to consider because nobody is at the court mercies more than us. But more than anything, I think it's despicable that we could even uphold or support or laugh at the works of somebody who used that same powerful pen against us all our lives, most of our lives, against some of our grandparents' lives. And that's not good. I'm out of here, man. Crown Dion, God is good. Peace. Peace, peace. Yeah. Uh, uh, uh. Woo! Oh, snap. I thought I didn't. See my pink pants.